We got another situation. And I posed the question to you. Do you know your rights? I'm trying to get better at knowing my rights and learning. So I know and I'm never put in these situations. Here we have another situation. Let's check it out.
Batch, how can I help you?
Hi, yes, I'm calling from Jolly Pumpkin. I don't know if we can do anything about this, but there's a gentleman out front of my restaurant who's recording all of my guests that are in my patio. I'd asked him to stop, and my guests are like putting menus in front of their faces as they don't want me recorded or pictures taken, and he will not stop.
Okay, is he still there now?
Yes, he said he was doing an investigation, but couldn't tell me any information on it. So I said if he couldn't stop it, I'd see if I could.
Okay, and where is he currently in the store?
He's not in the store, he's outside. He's right in front of, like, my patio outside. Sidewalk.
Okay. And he's still recording the customers?
Yep, he told me he would not stop.
Okay, I have a call for service. Give us a call back if it escalates in any way, okay?
Thank you.
Of course. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, what's up? Good. Yourself?
Good. So we just got a call from Jolly Pumpkin here saying that they don't want you to videotape in this area right here.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have your ID on you?
Am I committing a crime?
So they just want you to be moved along from the premises.
Okay.
Have you been trespassing?
No, I'm not even on their property.
So this is Jolly Pumpkin's property right here.
The public sidewalk is their property? I mean, they clearly broke off what they're using.
This is for seating right here.
This is... Hey, what's up, bro?
Do you mind if I see your ID?
Yeah, we can already see this is not about to be good. Yeah, I would imagine that's not their property. That's a public sidewalk. They don't... Yeah, this is not about to be good.
Have I done something wrong?
So they just want you moved along, so we don't know if it's up to go in there and ask them if they want you trespassing or not. To being on the property. I'm not trying to make it hard for you at all.
I saw that. He just walked up and looked at my man bag like that. Bro, I'd have been like, you listen something? You lost something? Like, you just walk up and just put your hands in my, what if my drink would have been open? Your dirty hands just like.
I'm not trying to either. I just really believe that I'm on public property, not their property, and therefore I'm not committing a crime. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm taking pictures in public, which is a First Amendment right. Therefore, I shouldn't be. It shouldn't be ID. I shouldn't be trespassed. I shouldn't be anything. I don't. This is where I'm at. I mean,
yeah, I understand. Ultimately, they just don't want you on their property anymore because it can kind of make other people feel uncomfortable in the area. It's making staff feel uncomfortable.
To stop the trespass, I'll move down to the end of their barrel, and then it's confusing to me, but then I'm off their property even though it's public sidewalk, right?
I mean, this is technically like their property here. They have, so if you're on like their premises here, they just don't want you around their business right now. It's making people feel uncomfortable a little bit, so. What are you taking pictures of? Just like students and stuff? Or?
I was just walking along taking pictures until one of their customers called me back and a couple other things, and then I stayed.
Okay. Well, Officer Sermon is in there right now just talking to staff about it, and if anything, they just want you moved along, so we'll just wait a minute here. And are you from the area?
I follow you on Facebook.
Okay.
I was making a Bath Township joke when he came up, but...
Hi.
Hi.
You looking for our manager?
Whoever.
Whoever, yes, okay. He'll probably be the best person to talk to.
Yes,
One
thank
second.
you.
We have your candy box right here, okay? Here you go. You're welcome.
Hi. Are you the one that called on him? Okay. You want him trespass?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep, of course.
See, now this is a good spot to look where he's at. Look where he's at, opposed to where you would possibly think they're, if they own some sort of property that extends beyond the building out. Look how far away from it he is actually on. I don't know what you would consider that type of walkway that he's on, but clearly I would think, you know, and I don't know for sure, but I would be assuming that he's on the public portion of the property. The stuff that the city probably handles, takes care of, all that type of stuff like that. I would assume that's where he's at, right? Clearly enough distance away. And the fact that he said that he was being harassed and heckled. That's what made him stop. But my question would be, okay, if an incident happened on the road right here, right? And the news was out there and they were recording videos and anything like that, would they have a problem with that? Just a question.
All right, my man. You got your ID on you?
Have I broken the law?
No, they want you trespass, so therefore we have the right to ID.
I have a right to leave then, right?
No. You are now being detained because you are going to be trespassed. I need to identify you before you're trespassed. In order to write you, your trespass notice.
That's good that you took the glasses off, man.
Alright. So you're going to trespass me from this sidewalk?
What's that? No, you're trespassing this establishment.
But I'm not in the establishment.
They have the right to trespass you.
I've never been on their property.
They have the right to trespass you.
So I can stay here.
The sidewalk is public.
So I can stay here.
You have a
You're
First
just
Amendment right.
trespassing me from walking
Correct.
inside. Okay.
What did he just say? And where have we seen him stay? Like, I don't think he's moved out of that one spot the entire time we've seen this video. And you just said on body.
No,
I don't know why you would want to do that because they're frustrated with you.
I don't know why they would trespass me from their property without even being on their property.
They have the right to do that. It is a private establishment. It is a private establishment.
That I never entered.
Okay, is that the one from Starbucks?
If they would like you trespassed, you're trespassing.
If the field house across the street calls you and says they want me trespassed because I'm on a sidewalk, you're going to do it?
Sure.
So anybody,
I highly doubt that
trust anybody off of
I
the sidewalk.
highly doubt that Fieldhouse would call and have you trespass just because you're standing on a sidewalk.
I felt the same way about the Jolly Pumpkin.
Okay.
But that's being proved wrong.
Okay. Call Steven really quick. I'm gonna come over there.
Oh, darn. He got I was reading this on the screen. Probably y'all was too. Officer Brenneman Sermon LinkedIn info. Dang, they put his LinkedIn info on here. Dedicated, hardworking, knowledgeable graduate student at Michigan State University, pursuing an MS in law enforcement, intelligence, and analysis. Currently a police officer with the East Lansing Police Department. Graduated from Michigan State University in May of 2022 with a BA in both criminal justice and psychology, along with a minor in law, justice, and public policy. Wow, the irony in that right there is just interesting. But salute to him though. That's a lot of accomplishments. You know what I mean? Even though what they got going on right there, you know what I mean? I ain't taking it personal. It's just they got to school them better on these type of situations, understanding people's rights and all of that. But I ain't knocking him for his accomplishments. Salute to him for that.
Hey, hold on. Sorry, this is Sermon. So this guy out here, Jolly Pumpkin wants him trespassed. He claims that he never entered the establishment. but it's still private property if they want him trespass from entering. Yeah, right?
It's private property, but you just said recently out of his mouth that he was on a public sidewalk.
I mean, it's a private establishment. If they're uncomfortable with him, I didn't ask them. I can go in there and ask them. He's claiming that he never entered Jolly Pumpkin. But I mean, regardless, it's private property. If they don't want him, and it's not trespassing him from being on the sidewalk. Yeah. Correct. So he's allowed to be there. He's allowed to record. He's allowed to do what he wants. But if they want to trespass him, but they are pretty. I guess I can go talk to them and double check, but.
So I'm confused because I'm guessing he's just saying to whoever, maybe a supervisor or whoever, that they're just trespassing him just to trespass him. You know what I mean? Just because, I guess, because they can, maybe. They're just going to trespass him. So even though he never stepped foot, never went on the property, they're just going to trespass him to never come inside. But, yeah, still confused.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
8-5, okay. Advised, going to be holding a PD accident. Harrison and Kalamazoo, 2 vehicles going through center to clear, holding 15.
Okay. All right. I'll go ask them then and establish if he ever entered onto. So like past the barrels, that would be their property, right?
Right. Lansing units, products are responding. 3500 college.
Okay.
The lowest for a 43-year-old female that slipped and
Okay.
injured.
All right. Sounds good. He's calling you over here. Did you know that? Okay. All right. Sounds good. I'll go inside with them and double check. All right. I don't know. I think he's just one of those First Amendment guys.
I've been waiting on him to say that. You know, word has traveled and has traveled for years about guys doing the First Amendment audit, right? But it still seems like nothing has changed. They haven't prepared. They haven't trained enough, gotten better in these situations or anything. Because a lot of them know what some of these guys are doing. And nothing seems to have changed, though.
Yeah, I think so. Yep. All right, I'll go double check with them inside really quick. All right, bye.
We're going to print this.
What?
We're going to print it.
Don't print it yet. I'm gonna go and talk to them inside and see if he ever entered in. And then I'm going to talk to them and try to, just so there's not issues between them, because he could sue them if they tell us that they want him trespassed, but he never actually entered. Like Steven said it's like a gray line. Like, he could, but it's fine. I'll be right back.
How you doing?
You all? So what has he been doing the whole time? Has he came inside? Has he came up to the door?
No, he's been where he was at, but he's recording all of my guests and they're putting like menus on their faces and he will not stop recording them and they keep telling him to stop and he will not stop.
Okay.
He told me he was doing an investigation but couldn't tell me anything about anything. And he
Okay.
will not stop. And I said, okay, I'm going to call the police, see what's going on. He's like, do you think the police will stop me? I said, I guess I'll find out.
Okay. So
He's on the property. I can't get the trespassing, right?
So it's kind of a gray line because he's right in front of your establishment, but he never entered it. But the sidewalk is public property. I'm going to have another chat with my sergeant and see. I am kind of also trying to mediate between you and between him and trying to find, like, if he could just move a block down so that he's done bothering you and then he doesn't have to be trespassed. That would be...
He simply told me he would not stop recording, so he's not going to stop recording. One of my guests are getting uncomfortable, and that's not good for my business, obviously, or my guests.
Okay.
So.
All right. Okay. You're welcome.
And I think before the whole trespassing thing was mentioned, I think he said that he would move. But it was like when they threatened to trespass me, he was like, why? And I haven't done anything. Now I'm gonna stand. Like, he was gonna move. He said he would move. I just think the way this is going now, he's done planted his feet firmly in the ground and he ain't moving.
Can I answer any questions for you?
How am I being trespassed off a property I never stepped foot on?
We're not trespassing.
That's what they told me, and that's what they used to get my ID from me.
No, we're not going to trespass. We're making
It was just getting my ID. We're not a stop and ID state. I was breaking no law. They told me I had to.
We're not trespassing so you go inside.
No, but you broke my Fourth Amendment right.
The establishment thought you were on their property.
No, they didn't.
That's what they told them.
And I told it, and during the investigation, I clearly stated where I was.
Well, private
I even offered to walk down there.
Private establishments. Private establishments can.
No, but I do like them. Have a good day.
Private establishments can trespass you. Correct?
If I'm on their property.
And private establishments can trespass you.
If I'm on their property, correct?
Yeah, that's what.
And I was never on their property.
That's what they told us.
Your cops used a trespass warning threat to get my ID from me. Now they got it. Everything's fine now, right?
It's all day today. Nobody wants to let anyone talk.
What happened if I didn't? What happened if I refused to give my ID to your officer?
Did you commit a crime? They'd have to determine if you committed a crime.
They told me I did. They told me I was being trespassed and they needed my ID to trespass me.
Okay.
Repeatedly, they said it. I have it.
Okay. Would you like to show it to me?
Sure.
Hey, Joseph, can we find a way to mediate this where there's not issues between you and Jolly Farm?
Well, right now my issue is with you guys forcing me to give you my ID.
Okay, I am investigating a possible trespass. Okay, I have reasonable suspicion to ID you because a crime is
You
afoot.
have reasonable.
I don't know when I
we
come
have
on
to
scene
talk
and
to
I make
everybody
contact with
to
you.
determine if you were inside or on their
And he did go in and talk. Did they lie? Did they lie to you? No, you went inside before you took my ID. You went inside and talked to them.
I said, would you like him trespass from your property? They said yes. So then I came outside here.
So you solicited a trespass without doing your investigation. Is what you.
Are you willing to have a conversation with me or no?
You just said you went inside to find out if.
Correct.
I went on their property,
I
but
told
you
you
went
exactly what
inside
I
and
just
said,
So them
do you want him
them
trespassed?
calling us is giving us the reasonable suspicion to make contact with you, correct?
This is going bad. This is going bad. Normally, the First Amendment auditor is the one asking for a supervisor, but right now, they need to call their own supervisor out there. They need to request a supervisor right now because this is going bad. This is bad. This is going really, really bad.
No, I can call the cops on them.
Yeah, we can go
can,
talk.
yes.
Yeah, we can go talk
Yes,
to them
100%.
and investigate it.
Why would you? I mean, what are they doing wrong? I
Why-
can see from here.
Well,
that
what are you doing?
All they're
They
doing
called
is
us.
being
They
beautiful.
called us for
I
trespassing.
mean,
Well, what are you doing wrong?
That's what they called us. I'll even
that
tell you what they
right.
called us.
So you should have never even talked to me. When you see me driving by, going, oh wow, that's guys in public taking pictures.
And you just move down the block, down to that tree, and toward the sidewalk, whatever else.
He called us. Okay, where was he?
He's right up from here. He's on the sidewalk. Yeah, he was.
Okay. It's not a crime.
I know. But he's harassing my guests. If he's outside of my patio, they're all gone because he would not stop recording
Okay,
them.
so those are things you need to tell us. That's
I did. I
harassment.
called the person on the phone and I told them that.
Okay, they didn't tell us that.
Okay, then yes, he would not stop recording them. They had
So you as the
many websites.
manager is saying that he's harassing the guests.
Yes.
They left.
Yes.
You physically observed him in their face getting mad at each other or something.
They put menus in
What were
front of
they
their
doing?
faces. He would not stop recording them. They asked him to stop. He said he would not stop. I asked him what he was doing. He said he was doing an investigation. He couldn't tell me any information on it. I said, okay. I said, we can't include these guests. They clearly don't want you to. Like, they're uncomfortable. He said, I will not stop. I said, well, I guess I might call the police. He said, do you think they'll stop me? I said, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
We'll talk to him about that.
yeah.
What's your first name?
Mary.
And you're here for a little bit longer?
All day. Yeah, all day.
That's what the call is. I'll even
That,
tell you.
right. So you should have
Exactly.
never even talked to me. When you see me driving by,
So-
went, oh wow,
so-
that's guys in public
So yes,
taking
I went.
pictures.
How do I know?
Can I have my ID back?
Can we find a way to mediate this where there's not an issue between you and Jolly Pumpkin?
Arrest me.
Why would you want that to happen? Why would I want to do that?
Well, as of right now, I mean, that's the only way you're going to get me to leave. If you want to arrest me for being on public property, and then you can appease their feelings, make them feel better.
That's not my goal. That's not why I'm a
Well,
police
it's not my
officer.
goal either.
Okay, so that's why I'm asking.
Asking me what?
Can we be adults about this, and can we mediate to where they're happy and you're not recording their customers, and you just move down the block, down to that tree, and you record the sidewalk, whatever else from over in there?
I'm not going to coddle the feelings. I was never on their property. First Amendment, you heard of that one? Right?
By the way, his shirt, bro. I need one of them shirts. A stick figure holding a brain saying, hey, you dropped this is hilarious to me. That's my type of shirt right there. I need one of them.
Silence is usually taken as a no. Anyway, what do you want to do here?
I told you what I want to do. I would like to mediate the situation between you and Jolly Pumpkin.
Well, earlier I offered to move down off of the sidewalk in front of their property.
I do not recall that.
Well, do you? No? Okay, well. I offered to move down there, but you were consent with the,
I don't know if I was
Why would I
inside
wanna
during
stay
that.
here?
I do not recall that. I apologize for not recalling that. Can we do that now?
no, you forced my ID, man. Now I'm here.
Yes, and I had every reason to force your ID. Okay, I did.
Did you have a
And-
suspicion that I committed a crime?
Yes.
What was the call? The guy on the camera taking pictures of their
Harassing
customers?
customers, correct.
That does not say that I was on their property. You went in and posted the trespass, you came out, you got the
I asked them a
ID,
question,
because you
and
guys
yes,
are all
I asked
ID
you for your
hungry.
ID.
Okay, thank you.
Have they been educated, Sarge?
About you being allowed to film publicly,
Yes.
but guests have left because they felt uncomfortable with you getting in their face. They even cover up their faces, I was told. So now we're looking at harassment too, sir.
The camera's not harassment. I didn't talk to
Yeah,
him.
but that's what the
I
manager
didn't talk
said.
to him.
So that's what she said. They lost guests because they felt harassed by you.
Based off of how they feel, not based off of how you feel. If they feel harassed in a
So that
reasonable
is a
space,
crime as well.
It's based off of law.
Yes,
Harassment is a
the
crime.
law is if they feel harassed, a reasonable person would feel harassed. That is harassment.
You feel harassed right now?
Do I know this?
Are you a reasonable person? Okay, well, I'm doing more right now with you than I was then because I wasn't even talking to them.
But it's how they feel, not how I feel.
You just said a reasonable person, and you're a reasonable person. I'm feeling that maybe they were unreasonable in their expectations of privacy.
And that's where you can.
They
have
could
that
have
feeling
sat
too.
inside, sir.
But they didn't want to. They covered their faces. I was told by the manager, and they
One.
left because they're not happy with that. They said they asked you to stop, and there was a little disagreement between you and the guests.
Nope.
That's what I was
I
told.
didn't say a word.
That's what I was told. So they said they covered their faces, and then they left because they didn't want to be fair. So I don't know how anybody can feel a certain way. Right? You can feel a certain way. They can feel a certain way, and people have the right to feel that way. If they feel a certain way, they feel harassed by you. They can feel that way, correct?
Well, what I'm hearing though is a lot of feelings.
That's their feelings. I don't control people's feelings, so we can ask them, but they left. It'd be really nice to ask them, but they left. So, do you have any other questions for us?
No. Are you done harassing me? Telling me that I have to leave?
I never told you that you had to leave. I told you you could stay right there.
Okay, well, you wanted to become an amicable situation where
to
they
leave.
were happy and I was happy.
Correct, I did do that. You are correct. I did do that, and I asked you if you could stand over there. Yes, you are right. I did do that. I never ordered you to leave.
They could have said that's their business. That's the people that want to see.
You're in public. I'm sorry. Would you like to move inside? I can do that. Create your own privacy. If you don't want to be filmed in public or seen in public, maybe you shouldn't sit outside.
How Dave Chappelle say, "Gotcha, gotcha." He again. It's like a boxer, right? He hitting him and he jabbing him, and they have no response, no counter for it. They don't. If you don't want nobody staring at you, or you want your customers and everything, but no, you want them to be able to sit outside and have this view of the public, but the public not to have a view of you. Like, you have to pick and choose. What do you want? You want them to have privacy? Then put up something to where they have privacy. But you wanted them to be able to sit outside and have that, and I enjoy that too. But then you're subject to something like this.
Sit there and ask you to not film them and not be upset by it. Can they be upset?
Can they? Sure. Can they call the cops and threaten a trespass? You know? Men with guns came because of a guy with camera. Breaking news. 3.
That's not why.
3.
I'm the supervisor, and that's going extra $2 million.
I appreciate you showing up because I don't trust these two. Not the way they were going. And can I have your card? Sure. I'll send you a copy later.
And not everyone is always educated around here as well in their phone piece. So we try to do that.
And that's part of what this is education. They didn't want to talk to me about it, though. They wanted to talk to you about it, so you had to do the
When I go to a
education.
restaurant, I don't want to talk to people walking by.
I don't even want you to show up. Tell dispatch. He's a guy with a camera. I talked to him already.
Did you have a loudspeaker too earlier?
Nope.
Someone said there's someone with a loudspeaker. See? That's how. And it was just right over at.
I got a bag of math stuff. No. Ain't been on there.
So right before this, I got called to say, guy had a loudspeaker in here, disturbing the peace, but like you can talk out in public. And you weren't even over there. So whoever was here, white shirt, white male, white shirt, beard, and a loudspeaker. So you know how people are. They don't have all the facts. We go figure it out. That's kind of what it is.
But it does seem like your officer there solicited trespass without an investigation.
And that's your opinion, and you're very open to that.
When did you find out I was never on their property?
Send me that and we can talk, okay? I work Sunday as well.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you for your professionalism.
Brought to our jail with one adult man.
Again, was nothing they could do. He didn't step on their property, then go inside their establishment. What could they do? Other than say to their customers, hey, I get it. We can move you inside, make you a little bit more comfortable. You won't have this view, but this is what comes with this view. Outside, you're subject to people recording and you possibly being in their shot. That's it. Listen, man, y'all stay safe.